Job is a man from the land of Uz, ancient Edom. Although not an Israelite, we do know that Job has a relationship with God. He is wealthy and is blessed with many children, and Job experienced great prosperity until he was tested by God and lost everything. But amid his suffering and doubt, Job remains faithful to God. Which brings us to our key verse for today, which reads, "But as for me, I know that my Redeemer lives, and he will stand upon the earth at last." Job chapter 19, verse 25. Job is often credited with patience, but this is not exactly the case. Job perseveres despite it all, but he is not feeling very patient. How long, he asks. The Hebrew is ad, almost like asking if it will last forever. Job seems to be feeling angry here, and can you blame him? All three of his friends are ganging up against him. They are trying to vex and break him into pieces with their words. Job's accusers act as if they are his moral superiors. They magnify themselves. They think they are pure because God is not punishing them. A reproach is a condition of disgrace in which Job feels treated like a terrible sinner. The picture here is like the person being assaulted in broad daylight, but no one listens to their cries for help. In this case, Job is crying out for God's help, but seemingly God has his ears shut. Job is not accusing God of being unjust. He is just complaining that he has not received a fair and equitable response from God. God is not answering. He wishes that the facts of his life could be written down for the future so it could be seen that he is not guilty of horrendous sins. God saw his suffering as well as his righteousness. And yes, a permanent written record was made of his suffering, and it is the book of Job in our Bibles. David spoke of God being his Redeemer, and so did Isaiah. And it is certainly in this sense that Job speaks of his Redeemer. Only God could vindicate him of his sins, and since Job expects to die soon, he saw the only hope of God declaring him innocent as happening after he died. So if God vindicated Job after he died, would that really help him? Job expresses in these verses the belief that even the worms would eat his physical body as it lay in the grave. His physical body would also be resurrected, and he would be face to face with his Redeemer. Job knows in his heart that he is not guilty of the gross sins his friends are accusing him of. We too should remember that whether in a court of law or a whisper of gossip, we should not accuse someone of doing anything wrong unless we have seen it for ourselves. When we get to the end of the book of Job, we will see that God judges the three for their accusations against Job. They had repeatedly harassed an innocent victim. The root of the matter was not found in Job. And so, here's our lesson. There is so much suffering in the world we live in. During these times, many people turn to many things to medicate the pain. Some turn to drugs, alcohol, and sex. Others turn to milder things like shopping and food. Those who believe in Jesus look to him as their redemption and hope. In our suffering, we can be assured that God is for us and not against us. Whether or not we are freed from the suffering, from our suffering, we can see our Redeemer and be in his presence forever. Thank you so much for listening and subscribing to iLights. Heavenly Father, fill our hearts with what we truly desire, for who we truly seek.